Hello, welcome to the beautiful views over Chilliwack and the Fraser Valley from the Gloria Lookout at the intersection to Mount Thurston. Highly recommended, not to miss. Well, my camera's on and I'm talking to it, and I have not done that in a very long time. And just because, been a little busy, but I am going to do a bit of a life summary recap on some things and catch up. As you can see, so I climbed, you can't see that, but I climbed 4,600 feet in 4.5 miles. Yes, I know I'm Canadian, and there is a ton of snow still out here. In fact, it's the highest snowpack for this time of year, back half of June, in a decade. So it'll be slightly later start to some mountain alpine missions this year. And because the snowpack is so low, all the wild animals that are out of hibernation and looking to eat things, look at all the moss on these trees. I love this area. Are being pushed into one small zone where the berries are blooming. And that means there's been lots of human-animal interactions. In fact, my good friend who lives at Cultus Lake had a massive cougar in his backyard for 2 hours last week. Conservation officer was busy on other calls and he did not get lost. And eventually he went out with a neighbor and some bear spray cut my ankle. And scared the cougar off, not wanting, since he has 3 young kids, the cougar to be happy in his backyard. So anyways, all that to say, to any local trail users, proceed with caution, go prepared. From my perspective, the last real updates I put out there, other than just the basic day-to-day things, was stepping back life-wise from competitive running and long-distance training, and that has actually aged really well. I am really happy with how the last 6 months of life have gone for me and my family, and I meant to start with, it's June 18th, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, especially my own dad, Fred Robbins, back in Newfoundland. Love you, Dad. Being a dad is such a challenging and important role, and I have really enjoyed basically freeing up more time for my son and my family these last 6 months plus. 6+ months. I got almost 20 ski days in with my 6-year-old son Reed, and it's been really wonderful to get to spend so much time with him because it goes really, really quickly. I am so from running and training perspective, I am really excited to be heading out to do a skyrunning race in Canada next weekend in 6 days. And that's kind of why I find myself on this here mountain today, doing literally my first specific workout towards the race that I'm running next weekend. I don't know if that's even called cramming for the exam. It's called hanging on for dear life. This race is called Meet the Minotaur. It's a 35K race with 2,900 meters of vert, 3 major up and down climbs. And they have a completely ridiculously stacked field of runners, but they don't make their entry list public. So I can't even cherry pick the whole list. But what I do know is this: every single competitive mountain runner that I know and I follow have been posting about heading to Crow's Nest Pass, Alberta to do this race next weekend. So I'm excited to do a badass mountain race and to have a lot of fun with it. I mean, mandatory gear a couple of editions ago used to be a helmet, so you know it's pretty legit. I have been told, and I fully believe, that even cracking top 20 in this race would be an achievement I don't even know if that's where I'm at right now. I do know this. I'm gonna go have a bunch of fun. I'm gonna run it as hard as I can. And like Brendan Leonard said from Semi-Rad so succinctly a couple of years ago, I'm only really competing against and trying to be a less shitty version of myself on a day-to-day basis. And I thought that really hit home because I have zero ability or desire to put in the time to try to compete against all those young bucks right now. But I am damn happy to be out doing my own adventures and staying fit and healthy at 45 years old. And I know for a fact that race is going to get the most out of me, and I'm really going to enjoy pushing myself as hard as I can on that day. And we're doing a road trip, a 12-day road trip into the Rockies. I lived in Banff for 5 years. I absolutely love it there. My wife has never been, and my 6-year-old son, obviously, I think has never been either. We're taking our dog and heading out on the road. We bought an electric car last year, so it's also going to be our first electric car road trip, which I'm very curious about how that's going to go for infrastructure, charging timing, etc., etc. But an adventure awaits me and the family, I'm very happy to say. And the big highlight from that trip is we are going to do a 3-day, 2-night, 35-kilometer backcountry hike. And again, my son is 6, he'll be 7 in August. And my dog is a Boxer Lab Cross. And I have more concern for my dog getting through the hike than my son. But we're doing that immediately after, the day after, meet the Minotaur. We're driving down to Waterton Lakes. And it's been 21 years since I've been to Waterton Lakes. Really excited about that. So anyways, lots of fun stuff happening there. Health-wise, if you've been following my Instagram stuff, but I haven't posted about it on YouTube or anything, but I did go through quite a health setback issue for quite a time there, and I'm happy to say I'm mostly on the right side of it. Look at this. Look at this. And got it to myself. I haven't seen a single person. I'm certain within 30 seconds of saying that I'll run into somebody. But yeah, I absolutely love where I live. Last year, I had some really significant fatigue, basically just full energy shutdown issues with my body. At Cascade Crest, which I ran the 100-miler in August, I got to the halfway point of the race, feeling fantastic and legitimately knowing I was going to be on the podium and thinking I might actually have a shot at winning. And all of that changed within about an hour. My body just completely shut down energy-wise. And it had been doing this on my long training runs that last year too. So I slogged my way to the finish of the race. I literally walked 25 miles, 40 kilometers through the night. Was happy to still get it done and get a belt buckle. But I went to my doctor afterwards because something just wasn't right. And I also wanted to make sure it wasn't my heart, because that happens. Sometimes endurance athletes can end up with overdeveloped hearts and have unexpected and immediate consequences. So we went about a barrage of tests, and coincidentally, I actually had a heart CT scan a week ago. 10 days ago, but it took 8 months to get the CT scan. And it was more of a follow through at that point after us believing we've sourced the solution as a thyroid issue. Hypothyroid, I'm on medication, and got on medication in late January, started feeling like myself in February. The 5 months prior to that, my energy levels were non-existent. I needed 8 hours of sleep to feel like garbage. Anything less than that and I couldn't function. I was dealing with depression. I was just in a really bad space, and I couldn't just push my way through and get out of it like I've been able to do in the past when you're up against some setbacks like that. So anyways, very thankful. Good doctor, listens to what I'm saying, trusts in my feedback. And the Synthroid medication for thyroid, again, look how beautiful it is, has been regulating things. and putting me in a much better space than I have been in the last few years, I would say, definitely the last year. But I'm still finding can't really regulate or maintain energy levels after about 5 hours of activity. So right now I get about 5 hours of being able to do things, and we're trying to figure out how to get that fully resolved so I can get that endurance back. RidgelineAthletics.com, my coaching business. We're taking clients. If you're interested, hit us up. We do everything from one-on-one coaching to pre-built downloadable training programs to customized training programs to phone consults, etc., etc. Check us out. We added Andrew. Our coaching roster includes Adam Campbell, Janelle Hazlitt, Ryan Kerrigan, Eric Carter, and Andrew Miller. Andrew Wiggins from Canada, the basketball player, just won the NBA title, and my brain kept trying to say Andrew Wiggins when it is Andrew Miller, the 2016 Western States 100-mile champion, is on our coaching roster now too. So hit us up with any questions. Would love to work with you and help you out. And right here, this is the Upper Gloria Trail. So this workout is the first specific workout I've really been able to do for this race. And at this point, I'm just trying to put a little bit of hurt on my quads today. So they'll ideally hurt a little bit less next weekend. 3 weeks ago, I ended up with a jacked up right hip, and it took me right up until a few days back to get that resolved. So the fact that I'm even doing this right now today is a massive victory, because a week ago I thought I might have to pull out of the race. So my racing calendar for the year will consist of 50K or below distances until I have some confidence that I've resolved my thyroid and energy issues. Meet the Minotaur in Crow's Nest Pass next weekend, June 26th. A couple of weeks after that, the Neenacker 50K. I am definitely behind the 8 ball, and at this point I'll just show up and see how it goes. And then in Chilliwack here in October, a 30K around Cultus Lake, called Around the Lake, give or take 30K. I ran the race in 2004 in the second ever edition of the race, and I'm very happy to get a chance to finally run it again as a backyard race. Anyways, I guess that's it for updates. Oh, podcast. A Little More Good podcast. The guys at A Little More Good reached out to me, and I was really happy to connect with them on a podcast that will be released soon. We connected a week ago. Really enjoyed the interview, because I, now being on the back half, the back quarter, the back space, back foot, I don't know, of my ultra running competitive career, I wanted to talk a little bit more about other stories that I hadn't had the chance to tell over the years. And I got to talk about my year that I spent in Australia and New Zealand, my year that I spent cycle touring in Central America, the year that I spent working in the oil and gas industry in Fort St. John, and all kinds of other stories that I've never had a chance to talk about on a podcast before. So it's called A Little More Good. I don't know when it's being released. It'll be soon. I'll update when it does, but I'd love it if you checked it out. And there was one other thing. I was going to say. Dun, dun, dun. Well, I'm almost at this new trail here called Big Blue, which is a brand new addition to the Chilliwack Community Forest Trail Network. Thanks to all the dedicated volunteers and community builders for the incredible network that we get to play and recreate on here in beautiful Chilliwack. From a race directing perspective, it's been a really good year getting back to full pull races. We're 4 races in to our 7 race calendar. Last 3 races, Buck and Hell in July in North Vancouver sold out. Squamish 50 in Squamish in August sold out. The Whistler Alpine Meadows races in Whistler in September 9th to 11th. Still some spots available in the Ascent race, the triple whammy, Ascent 25K, 50K, and the 100K, which has 5,000 meters, 16,000 feet. And the 100 miler still has some spots left. And it's a hard rock qualifier with 9,000 plus meters, almost 30,000 feet of climbing and descent. And one other thing will not come to me. Whoa, there, you get to watch me self-arrest a few times out here. So this is me running down the mountain. Oh, here's the next cloud bank. Look at this. Oh, these zones. Moody days like this are always so beautiful out on the trails. Hope the camera does it justice. This is what living in the Northwest is all about. Even when it's raining and we're not getting anything for summer weather, we still get treated to beautiful forests like this. With that, I guess I'll call this another episode of Mountain Monologues and Downhill Dialogues. I'll continue running the last 2,500 feet down this mountain. And thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everything. And maybe I'll do some more videos and updates from this Meet the Minotaur road trip. I always intended to, but just got busy with family stuff and work stuff. And yeah, there we go. There it is.